What day is it? It is Thursday, the 14th of November. We're right in the middle of November. Are you getting ready for that Thanksgiving? I'm getting ready. Susie, fam, and Callie. So let's just wrap up this trading week, get through it, and have ourselves a delicious dinner. What's up? Okay, so let's check out. Let's get into it. We got 10 minutes. So RTY. This is Russell. Yesterday, it's been continuing to climb down, right? Let's see. Okay, so we've had it push down right here, and then it worked its way up, but now it's kind of coming down again, but it's kind of a weak, scraggly down. We're still in that mucky zone. So it's not ideal or favorable conditions right now for trading Russie baby, Russell Crowe. Trade him for another gladiator. I look at this as a potential actually bottoming to the top side. So I would actually take a trade, I don't know, to the top side here with a thing here. But let's check out these other instruments to see if we got a better setup. Another gladiator is NQ. Interesting. Okay, so NQ, we've had some movements up, right? And it looks like it came up yesterday and then started to collapse back down. And now we're kind of like breaking through, moving down. I'm not even a big fan of this kind of setup. Let's check out what's going on in ES. Okay. It looks a bit more like ES is kind of flagging here. So we've got a bit of a bottoming out. So I'm actually feeling stronger with either ES or Russell. Honestly, I'm feeling actually pretty strong with Russell compared to the three. Yeah, I'm feeling solid. Let's stick with our boy Russ. And okay, so I'm looking at this as a bottom, right? That the evidence here was we got this break here. We got it tapped through here, but not much. I see this thing coming up for sure. And to there, 88.50, 85.50. So we got, yeah, that's like a decent amount of risk to work with. I see this thing maybe like coming down a bit and then shooting up. I definitely see this more as a flag to set up for a long. And then we see that on ES as well. And NQ looks a little different, so I'm not going to deal with that. Yeah. That's what I'm seeing. We still got time. I did that analysis pretty quick. All right, so okay. Yeah, we see this two double. This is like the little fangs here from yesterday, red fang. And then it tops off here, and this starts to come down, but this is not very strong. So that's why I'm feeling like this is we're gonna get a cruise up. It might be pretty jagged. So what I'm seeing is this either just comes up or maybe it cruises around a bit and then sets up and then shoots up if this thing, all right, let's see here. If this thing shoots down, breaks lower, then I'll be looking for a move, a pullback and a move down. If it breaks lower and then back higher again, then we'll look for a setup long. Yeah. Or if it shoots up, right, and then starts to shoot back down again, then we could take it down again like that. I have a feeling this thing is going to come down, but I don't feel like that's ultimately where it's going to stay. I think NQ, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have as much of the, I feel like this might double bottom and shoot up. Yeah, you could get something there. I'm feeling a bit stronger about this setup. I will say, though, that the theme has been pretty mucky. And what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on ES. What we could get is a move here. Put a guy on here. and ES like that. Russell, you could actually tighten this guy up here. And Hugh, I also see the here, kind of right there.
Stop field. Stop field.
Okay. I'm looking for about 91 on this guy. And I'm looking at maybe 92, 92 and a half. A little bit more. A little bit more. There we go.
Order filled.
And this guy I'm looking at. There we go.
Order filled.
So there's 282 for the day. Very simple. Move it open. See, it was pretty easy it was even easier to see what was going on because I got all the confirmation from every instrument. And then I could diversify between the instruments and pick the ones that looked the best in terms of setups. This actually looked good too. It was a little bit more down, but it was solid. Yeah, I was looking for a target somewhere around here was kind of where it had poked before. And this is just base hits, basically. I'm just looking at base hits. And the same thing here. I was looking at kind of coming around this guy as a good base hit point. Here, this zone here would have been a good base hit, maybe like 57, like where it's kind of hitting right now, about 57. Yeah, it's popping up. Boom, I would take profit about there. Yeah. So that would be my base hit. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing right now is just base hits. And I'm diversifying my positions between different instruments. But all indices. So, because you don't know, some could like be wonky and knock you out, right? And others might do just fine. And so you don't want to be focused on one instrument and then get knocked out and do fine on the other. Cool. I mean, that was quick. I guess I could recap how I looked at that. So what I saw was, right, we saw this kind of bottoming out here after it's been pushing lower, right? So it is kind of coming down a bit. And then we saw this move up here, right? But then when this came down, this was really weak. So strong and then weak, right? And so when I see that, I see a shift in power. And so when I see a shift in power, you also have some other clues, like for example, as it's coming down, you see this spike up here, breaking parts, followed by very weak follow through on these bottoms here, right? So that kind of just sets up for a bottoming. This is what it looks like as a bottoming with clues of reversing here. And so this made a very simple case for just taking this long here, which turned out to be a little double bottom, nice. and then finding a reasonable spot where profit seems like a good spot to take a base hit. And then I saw the same thing setting up in the other charts. What's interesting is RTY is a little bit on a downward channel, whereas S&P has been, and Q has been in an upward channel. So, and these guys, they're all saying up. So this one's just showing it stronger. So this one moved up. When this moved up, it moved up stronger than RTY. And then when it moved down, this is an even weaker down. So this is like a really nice flag setup. And it was just like very bottomed here, right? Just clearly very bottomed out. And so it was setting up for a very nice platform to the upside. And then you just find a reasonable spot to take profit, and that's it. It double bottomed here, just like it did the same setup as RTY. And what's funny is NQ did the exact same thing too. It just didn't have as strong of a basing because, let's see here, it did move up, but then it had this strong push down, and then it's been wiggling it almost feels a bit sideways here, and then kind of coming down a bit. So it wasn't as uniform looking. Like ES was very uniform, very flag-like in nature. This is very a more erratic chart, and that's kind of typical of NQ. Is it's got more volatility because it's all like tech and biotech stocks, so they're already pretty wild and crazy. But yeah, so you want to, but sometimes it can look like a really good setup. Like yesterday, this was a nice drive up, and so sometimes it can give you a very clear, solid signal that can lead to a really good position. But it is more volatile, so you have to be more cautious with NQ. You really only want to take NQ if you really see something solid. ES, usually, yeah, you don't want to take ES if it looks too choppy, right? And then RTY, I don't know what happened to my what is going on, guys? Let's try this. There we go. And let me just pop these off. Don't need these anymore. Yeah, and our NQ definitely would have yielded more profit than the two that I traded. It always will because it's most volatile of the three. But I imagine I would have gotten in, I just deleted it, whatever. Probably around, probably around here. And put my stop back here, and then I probably would have gotten out at like 57. So 47, that's 200. 1, 2, 3. So that's 260. Yeah, I mean, NQ would have made about as much as I made on RTY and ES combined. I think just also because it had a higher up profit target. You want to get it somewhere around there. Now, that's not to say this is a bit of a wonky kind of spot for all the instruments. It's not it's not like it's ready to skyrocket off, right? So I imagined it would be, for a base hit, it would be really nice to just go for that nearest kind of spiky point. Take that, because that's what it's been doing. It's been spiking around. And I imagine it will continue to do more of that. Cool. All right, guys. I'm going to just close this out enjoy the rest of my morning, enjoy the rest of your morning, and really stoked. I just started. It was interesting because I had seen this week and last week, RTY has been a little sketchy. I mean, yeah, RTY has been pretty sketchy lately. So just because it's in a if I do the daily, we could see it's just been in this kind of it came to the top of this range, and now it's kind of been bouncing around trying to figure out what it wants to do, and it's started to make some breaks to the downside, but it's still in that zone, and that has created some pretty meh kind of days, not very lackluster days, as opposed to when it was moving here through October. It was oh, there's Meow Meow. Go let Meow Meow in. Oh, Meow Meow. So that's when I was because I was just focused on one instrument, and then I was like, wait, I feel like, hi, come here. What's up? What you meowing at? Huh? It's just me. There's no plumber. She got freaked out by the plumber yesterday. She's like, who the fuck is this dude? But, yeah, she's been out all night. But it didn't get that cold last night. It was only in the maybe 29. She's fine. That's good, though. That means she got a lot of exercise. I like to keep her trim so she can murder things. But, yeah, okay. Sorry, getting distracted here. Yeah, so that's when it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, wait, I totally feel, I was looking at NQ and ES, and I was like, dude, there's been some really nice setups on these guys early on. I'm like, that's where it got me thinking. I'm like, I think I could just look where the good setups are between these instruments, because I only want to pay. I'm paying like $100-something for data, and I could get crude and gold and Dow and all these, but that's like over $100 for each of those, and I'd rather just focus on one of those buckets of data, which would be these guys. I think there's also like EMD, like emerging markets or something like that. Yeah, EMD, mid cap. Oh no, it's not emerging markets. It's mid cap. I have no idea who trades mid cap though. I've never heard of anyone trading EMD. I'm sure people do. But yeah, that's what I was like, man, like ES has been making new highs. It's been a beast. And Q has been making new highs. It's been a beast, right? A lot of good setups. I'm like, and it's the same kind of setups too. I'm starting to see how universal this whole thing is. So yeah, a lot of people will say don't trade the open, but I'm like, I think trading the open is like the best time to trade, because when the pre-market sets up appropriately and gives you like a really sweet setup, that can propel you into an epic freaking trade. So like, for example, even just yesterday, we had NQ, right? This dude, right? It was just moving up, and then it pulls back for a perfect setup. Boom, you get it on that beast, right? And just ride that all the way up. You know what I mean? Like maybe I would have a target there as a base hit, I would grab, bam, that one, right? That's already like 10 points. That's a solid, or more. That's over 200 right there. But as a runner one, I would take this even further and probably take profit around there, which is where it was getting hit there, right? Or even higher. Once it kind of just like tops off here, right? We see the topping here before it does this crazy shit. Yeah. And NQ is good money too. That there's a lot of volatility there. If you trade it appropriately and look for a solid setup like that, right? Today wasn't as solid. It was kind of coming down, and I don't know, it was kind of weird. So I avoided it, whereas the other ones looked more solid. So then you could just literally pick. You're like, okay, which one looks the best early on and before open, and then just stick with those and just freaking kill it. Like, to be a Beastmaster level 900, you know? Beast. That's right. I'm going to leave it on that. Beastmaster level 900. All right. Peace, everyone. See you on finish this week up with Friday.